Alright, I'm going to try to answer everyone's questions. Number one, where is the real sun if the sun simulator is up there? I used to think the real sun at least, was behind the sun simulator until my buddy invited me to his house and showed me his, weather balloon project. What I know and what I see, the sun's right there. The sun's in the middle, y'all. It's in between those attachments that you see right now that's around the sun. And no, the sun is not 93 million miles away. You guys got to get that shit out of your head. It's literally above our heads. It's in orbit. Why would they put that's where the sun is, all right? Up there. Multiple reasons. I can't really tell you exactly why, but with my experience and all the research I've dug up and read, I would say weapon system. They could be using that weapon. They could be using the sun, taking all the solar energy, using it to create a laser beam, like people's been seeing around the world. People capturing what really destroyed Hawaii and Chile. That could be one of them. Surveillance, they could be using that for surveillance. They can do anything right now with that shit up there. They can literally do whatever they want the fuck to do. They own us right now since that shit's up there. It used to be yellow, now it's white. Me and my buddy come to a conclusion, right? What happens to a shirt that's yellow that's been washed over and over and over and over? What happened to that color? What happens to that color? It starts to fade away, right? They've been talking about this shit since the 60s. We don't even know. We didn't even notice the fucking sun simulator until like recently, right? So it could have been years. It could have been like decades, like shit. So imagine that. Do the math. That's how long. Let's just say since the 60s. That's a long fucking time from now. So that energy that they're sucking out of that sun, what I believe, I could be wrong and I hope I'm wrong, our sun is dying. And that's why the colors is going away. It's fading away. That's what I think, at least. That's the only thing, the only thing I can think of. Other than that, it's clearly...
Okay. Greetings and glad tidings. This is Chief Ironbush speaking. Now, the sun is white right now because it is part of the ancient sun cycle. Okay? It goes from red to blue. That is the red Kachina, blue Kachina. Alright? Let me pull it up here. Now, that's the first bulb is the red sun. All right, the red Kachina. That's the stories in the Bible that you read is when men lived 900 and some years, basically up to 1,000 years. All right. When the sun is red, red is the lowest vibrational color. It has low, long waves, meaning the energy, the frequency that we call time, is low and long, meaning the days are longer, everything is longer, lives are longer, trees grow bigger, animals grow bigger, people are even bigger. Okay? That's what happens. The flora and fauna all grow to unimaginable sizes from our point of view. Now, then from there, and the red sun is here the longest as far as time as we know it on a linear scale. Then it goes to orange. Okay, this is, if you look in all the ancient Egyptian glyphs and other ancient cultures, the sun is, the older it is, it's always red. But as the time and the ages, the procession of the equinoxes goes on, if you look at some of the ancient Greek pictures and glyphs and things, and Romans, you can see that they had a more orange sun representing the sun, orange color, the disc behind the heads of the, the apostles and Christ. All right, now you move on. it gets, first it's really yellow. That's when most of our parents, grandparents, and things, and maybe even great grandparents, they grew up with that high yellow light. You can see it in old Polaroids, old pictures. Most of us grew up where the one where it says 4,000. Okay? Most of us grew up with that color sun. Alright? Now it gets to around 5. Now once it gets to white, see, as this goes on, the waves get shorter. So that means it's faster. From crest to crest, that's one wavelength. From one point to another. From when the wave goes up and then down, and when it meets on that horizon point, that's the crest. All right? That as the light changes from red to blue, each one gets shorter. So we call this time speeding up. So as you get to this white spectrum down here, it doesn't take as long as it did to get from the red to the yellow. Once it gets to white, this is rapid fire. This happens quickly, okay? Right now, we are right around the 7,000, 8,000 point right there. They've already came out and said mainstream that the sun is starting to emit blue rays. A lot of people didn't catch it. They came out last year and said it. Because that's revelation of the method. The truth has to be accessible to you in a free will universe, a free will realm, and that's where you are. No matter what you think, that's why, when they was giving out the poison and everything, it has to be by consent. It don't matter if they come and hold you down and shoot you up with something, this and that. It has to be by your free will consent. The trick is they have indoctrinated you to think that the truth only comes from certain sources, a certain book, a certain channel on your television, a certain program on the television, which is now the black scrying mirror that is held in everyone's hand. So once we get to around 9,000, right? So what'll happen is on sometime between 2039 and 2046 on the winter solstice. All right, now this is the story of the Christ as well, when the Son of God is dead for 3 days, when the sun is at its lowest point in its cycle, its yearly cycle. The cycle is just 360 degrees. All right. The extra 5 comes from something called the analemma. That's a whole different teaching. Now, when there's going to be a winter solstice sometime between 2039 and 2046. I'll explain to you why it's only going to be those years. Where after we get to the winter solstice, and 3 days later, when the sun is usually resurrected, the Son of God is resurrected from the tomb 3 days later. That's when the sun rises above the horizon 1 degree on December 25th. Okay? Now, the reason that it was celebrated as Saturnalia is because the elites know that they would celebrate when the sun would return, because that means they have more time. That means it is not time for the cleansing event, and they worship time because they don't want to get out of this realm. Most of them can't because they're what you call reprobate. They've fully given themselves over to the false ruler of this realm on this side of time. If you're an eternal soul, you have access to leave outside of time, which is what the energetic signature that we call Saturn or Chronos. That's why they call things chronological order is, in order of the time it happened. Chronos, the god of time, the father that eats its own children. Well, that's time. Time, no matter who you are, it's going to eat you up when you're on this side of Saturn. Saturn, all the planets are just the Archons that they beam energy signatures into this realm. And that's what astrology is trying to figure out how all the energies are lined up and how it affects you. That's what that is. Astronomy is just knowing about it and not trying to foretell the future, but just being aware of these things. Now, there's going to be a year where on the 25th, the sun does not rise 1 degree. See, normally it rises 1 degree, and every day after that, it goes up another degree until the summer solstice. And then it'll start going down 1 degree from that point. Okay? So when this happens, what's going to happen is the sun is going to make its way to the place where it should not be and stand and proclaiming itself as God in a place where it should not be, on the throne. What is the throne? The throne is what the ancestors used to call Mount Meru, because Meru is Mary, or the waters of the mother, the great mother. Anything with Mary, Meru, Mariam, Mater, anything like the Maria, that's all the great mother. Okay, it's the center point of the toroidal field of this realm, and they looked at this as the true, for lack of a better word, God, the true origin of life. Okay, the womb. And what's going to happen is the sun is going to make its way to magnetic north, which it's never does that. The closest it'll come is what is called the Tropic of Cancer. And the furthest it goes out is the Tropic of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. Cancer is ruled or governed by the moon. Cancer is also known as the mother sign in the zodiac. Okay, well, zodiac, the original word for zodiac is Zion. Okay, so in the book of Revelation, when they say Christ will stand on top of Mount Zion with the 144,000, and they was singing a new song, that's those that have reached Christ consciousness and have activated their full genome, 144,000 genome, perfect genome, restored. Singing a new song is meaning we're all in agreement, creating a frequency that literally creates a new plane, new heaven, new earth, from our collective frequency. Okay, that's what that means. And it says above, on top of Mount Zion, meaning above what you see in the waters above. The zodiac and this and that, you will literally be above all those energies, meaning past time. You'll be above time, because in the ancient days, Saturn was called El Elyon, specifically by the Canaanites, which meant the Most High, because out of all the stars that moved around and had no fixed course, which was only 7 back then, they could not see Uranus and Neptune with the naked eye. So it only goes to Saturn. They say Uranus is where the true heavens begin. That's why in the New Testament, 90% of the time when the word heaven is used, it was actually Uranus. Okay? Now, in 2039, Uranus will enter Cancer for 7 years. That's where they get the 7-year tribulation, all right? And then in 2046, it will enter Leo. That's the return of the lion of the tribe of Judah. Judah just means the children of the light. It has nothing to do with a certain tribe or this or that, a certain color of people. It literally means the children of the light. I have to do a whole nother teaching to explain that further. So from 2039, Uranus enters Cancer, which is, the motherly sign. It's also, around the summer solstice. All right. And Uranus and Cancer is also the constellation where our pole star is, Polaris. So Uranus is going to come basically in front of our pole star. All right. And it's shown in all the ancient glyphs when this happens. There's an alignment. Jupiter, Venus, I believe Saturn, and I'm pretty sure that's it. The last time this time it's going to be Uranus. So if you know the Greek mythology, Gaia is the great mother who created Uranus, but there was also her husband. So this is the husband or the father coming back for his bride, which is Gaia. This is the marriage. Okay? This is the story of the marriage of the divine, the sacred masculine, and the sacred feminine. We are in the great mother. We are the sacred feminine. That's why it's always the story to enter the kingdom of heaven. You have to go through the right side. It's told over and over. When Christ told when they was fishing all night and they couldn't catch any fish, and he said, cast your net to the right, and they caught 153 fish. Well, 153 equals 9. 9, it means divine completion or feminine. The right side is the right brain, which is the feminine energy. Again, when Christ was crucified on the hill of Golgotha, that just means the place of the skull. The thief on the right, didn't have no reason to believe what this person next to him was saying, but he went with his intuition instead of logical thought, as the thief on the left was going. That's the masculine, the logic, and odds and numbers and statistics. Well, the thief on the right said, look, I believe in you. I believe in you, brother. Wherever you going, please take me with you. He said, this day you shall join me on paradise. That was also the thief on the right and the thief on the left are your internal thoughts. It's your ego struggling with your higher self. And the internal marriage is when those two energies merge. Now, as above, so below, as within, so without. So the external merging is when Uranus comes back and the energy merges with Gaia. Okay, that's it, from 2039 to 2046. And then it says the lion shall eat hay. That's when Uranus goes, and 2046 goes into the sign of Leo, leaves Cancer, the mother, goes into Leo, and everything, that's the new heaven, new earth. Everything is harmonic, everything's peaceful. The Leo, the LO will eat hay, will no longer be aggressive. Everything will be in order. Now it says there will be no sun. The reason being because when it goes from the red to the blue, after the changeover, which it's one by fire, one by water, we're coming to the one by fire. Okay, the one by water goes the opposite direction. It'll go from blue to red. And then when it gets to the red sun, then that's when the flood comes. All right. Now we're coming to the one to the blue, and then for 1,000 years there is no sun in the sky, and there is no nighttime. If you read the book of Revelation in the Bible, it says there'll be no sun, no need for lamps. There will be no night. Okay, the sky itself will be illuminated, not with a real bright light. It's not gonna be bright all the time. It's a pretty dim, reddish, purplish sky, like a beautiful sunset. It's all the time, and worldwide in this realm, it will be like a nice tropical temperature, not too hot, nice breeze, basically the most perfect weather you can imagine. And that's when all the foliage grows back in all the deserts and things like that. As Babylon and Sumer and all that, they all used to be almost like rainforests, pretty much. Like they were lush with vegetation. So that returns. And the parasitic beings that are fully left brain masculine energy, we call reptilians, they have inbred themselves over tens of thousands of years into left brain only. All right, they have no access to the feminine energy. That means they're basically stuck on this side of time. That's why they love that infinite symbol, because infinity and eternity are two different things. Infinity is a loop. It's a time loop. That's how, we know these things, because it's not prophecy, it's the past. The past is the future. The beginning is the end is the beginning. The head will be the tail. The first shall be last, last shall be first. It's saying all the same thing. So the reason for this sun simulator, the sun simulator is just a glare. Okay, there is no physical sun. The real sun that we see in the sky, that is an intersection point of the energy coming, the light from the plasma nebula that we call Polaris, our pole star, the light coming in from there, intersecting with the vibration from the black, what we call the black sun, that is in the core of the earth. The ancestors called it the seed of the mother. Okay, it's like a supersonic battery. It gets charged up from the pole star. So this whole time it's charging up. Now when this event happens, it's what the Bible calls the abomination of desolation. Now everybody's waiting on a man to be standing in the temple proclaiming himself as God. Yeah, they're going to do all that. They're going to do it on every level because it's theater. Okay, just like they rewrote over the natural sun cycle and put their own little predictive program and prophecies on top. So you'll just accept them, and when they come, you'll be deceived and think, oh yeah, this is in the Bible, this is in the Quran. It's all supposed to happen like this. They're actually taking your manifestation God power to make it happen because you believe in it. You've been raised up, indoctrinated to believe this has to happen just like this. When it doesn't, there's a splitting in timelines. Okay? The age of Aquarius can be ruled by Saturn or Uranus. That's the split. Those that are going to be ruled and still exist on this side of time are going to be in the age of Aquarius under the rule of Saturn. Those that aren't will be in the new heaven, new earth with Uranus, basically bringing in a new light, a new energy. It's balanced, it's harmony. Okay, not this double masculine Shu Min resonance. Shu and Min, they tell you it came from a man named Schumann. No, it comes from Shu and Min, two ancient deities in ancient Egypt, which is actually called Tamara, that were known for their erect phalluses. Okay, there's that Mara again. Same thing as Sumeria, right? Before tens of thousands, about 10,000, about 10 to 13,000 years before that, was Atlantis, where they hijacked us, and then before that it was Lumeria. So it's always the people that live in harmony and know these things is always have Mary or Maria or Meru or something that has to do with the Great Mother, because when it comes back to what we call the beginning or the end, the head and the tail. It goes back to how it is in the beginning, which is balance. All right. But the great mother, it's micro macro. All life comes out of the womb of living waters, which is the great mother. Even men always argue, yeah, but what about the seed? Well, even the seed has to be carried by seamen. Okay, even the sperm is carried by the waters of the mother, which is seamen. Why do you think they call it seamen? Because they're the little itty bitty men at sea, and trillions of them die. Only one makes it, and it's the one that is magnetically pulled and chosen by the egg of the great mother that is within the mother that to be down here in the physical realm. It all goes back. The X chromosome, XY, X comes before Y. The woman came first. They lied to you. The whole story in the Bible is just the story of a reset. Your Bible says in the beginning. In the original scrolls, it was one word, not three. It was called Bereshit. If you write it out, it says be reshit, or be reset. They're letting you know when they started cloning workers. Okay, they said the Anunnaki came here mining for gold. Well, was it for their atmosphere of their realm? Well, it's not gold for a planet. They're talking about gold for their aura. AU is gold. RA is Ra or radiation or light. So your aura is your golden light. They cannot get their crown because you can only get a crown through the right side, which is the feminine. The Egyptians show you this in their glyphs where it takes 2 women to crown 1 king. Okay, so for you to get the crown, which is a times 1,000, because you have 144 what's called nodes or nabis or nadis. That's also the Hebrew word for prophet. So you have 144 nadis or nabis in your body. These and 7 main points. There's 7 seals in the Bible or 7 chakras. When you open these, and then the last one, you get the crown from the Great Mother. That's times 1,000. That's the restoration of the 144,000 light genome. Okay, these beings are separated from the divine feminine. They're completely masculine. Bloodshed, blood sacrifices, no forgiveness without the shedding of blood, burnt blood offerings, the sprinkling the blood. It's all about the blood. They're blood drunkards. To this day, they're still blood drunkards. And the L eats are the ones making sure that L eats your energy. Okay? Your blood, your sweat, your tears, your energy that is now called loosh. All right? So the L eats are those that are employed by L being Saturn. All right, and L broke itself off into 6 other energetic signatures. All right, and the first being who you now is known as Yahweh. All right, also known as Zeus, Jupiter, the Jew, Peter, Baal, Moloch, all of that. It's all the same character, whether you want to believe it or not. Do your research, you'll find out. Yahweh declared itself the only God and this and that. So that's a whole nother story, the jealous God. But there's 5 other energy signatures. All right. And not all of them, or not all the energy signatures are bad. It's up to you whether you're going to allow it to edify your higher self and raise yourself up energetically, vibrationally, or you're going to allow the ego, the false you, the one that goes by your name, affiliation, skin color, what nation, what country you're from, what flag, what this, what that. If you want to be associated with that so strongly that it overpowers your higher self connection, then you will be back here, which is the purgatory. It's the tour of the purge of your soul. You will keep coming back until the dross is removed and you are gold. All right, it's turning lead to gold. It's the ultimate alchemy from A to U. Okay, authority. When you get your authority, your gold Thor. Thor is electricity. When you get your gold light, okay, your aura is fully restored. Your golden light. And when these Anunnaki came here mining for gold, they came here mining us for not for an atmosphere of a planet called Nibiru. They did it for an atmosphere of something called Neb-Haru. Neb-Haru just means the eye of Haru or eye of Horus. That's as high as they can get. The sixth seal. The first eye being widely open. That's how they're able to run the world, because they do everything they can to keep your first eye shut and keep you with division, double vision, looking through your two eyes instead of thine single eye full of light. Okay, now their eye is single, but it's full of darkness, and oh, how great that darkness is. All right, they cannot go past that. That's why they worship the eye of Horus or Haru or the eye of Ra, however you want to put it, with the 369 energy, the double rotating pyramids that creates what we're told is 0 point energy, but the gold they're talking about is monatomic gold, and it exists within your blood. Okay, it's all within your blood. And that's why they would do burnt offerings, because when you burn it, it turns the blood into the next phase. Okay, it's earth, water, air, and then fire. Okay, the beings that are feeding off of your energy are in a different spectrum, a different frequency. So when you burn it and add the heat to it, it then turns that blood into a gaseous state where they can consume it. Okay, now the elites, they can just drink it because they're on in a physical body. Now the goal is the whole story of the Christ and the Antichrist is for the head being of these Archons to incarnate in a fleshly body. They've been trying to do it for a long time, but they've realized now that they have to do it through technology, but it can't be a full robot. It has to still be enough human to lay claim to like the throne, basically. And that's what the whole story is about. But on a macro with the sun, once the blue sun gets to above the magnetic north, removes its mask, and reveals who it truly is, it's going to be a black sun with a blue ring around it, and then a blue beam will come out of it heading towards the throne of Earth, which is Mount Meru. All right. Now under Mount Meru is the black sun, the seed of the mother. Now her seed, okay, as it said in Genesis, the seed of the womb man, all right, or the mother, is Emmanuel, the Christ. It's the Christ energy, all right. Emmanuel in their Aramaic tongue was Emmanuel, which means the exclamation of the great mother on this side of time, within the realm of time. Okay, so there's an even brighter blue light that comes out of the earth and hits the blue light coming out of this false light, this sun in the sky that people worship. And that's what you call your pole shift, your plasma apocalypse, whatever you want to say. This is the story of the sword of Michael slaying the dragon, because the sword is the blue beam that comes out of the rock of Mount Meru. Okay, that's the sword of the great sword that Christ has in his mouth. Because they're saying it's a vibration. Because the black sun is a vibratory. It's not. It doesn't give off a visible light. Only when it amalgamates with other elements, then you'll see things like the northern lights and things. All right. And or when it crosses paths with the intersection of the plasmic light from Polaris, our pole star, you'll see the sun. And I mean, and this is the story of Excalibur with the sword and the stone. I mean, it's just in every culture. And then when for the first 1,000 years there is no sun in the sky, and these beings cannot survive on the surface of the land because it's basically daytime 24 hours a day, but there are no hours. There is no time, because without a sun in the sky, there's no way to count the days and this and that. So there's no time. People just be. The souls just be as it should be. So when the sun returns, it's red. And that's when the elites that go underground during the plasmic event, that's when they start popping back up with their technology. And by then we're back in a harmonic state with nature. Okay, we ain't worried about technology, because we are the technology, the highest form. It's light. All right, we're spiritual technology, light technology. So they come back up with their physical things, and that's the whole story all over again. The tree of knowledge, it's actually the tree of techni, the tree of tech knowledge. Techni meaning idolatry. All right. So the whole story starts all over again. When it's the one by water, they come up from under the water. They literally live under the water in vessels. Until the sun comes back into the sky, and then when the blue sky comes back, when it turns from the reddish, purplish sky, when the blue sky comes back, that's when the Bible says Satan is loosed off his chain. That's when the elites come back to the surface of the earth, bring all their religions, bring all their bloodshedding, and this and that, killing animals again, and overloading the masculine energy onto the earth plane, and then all over again, same thing happens. But if you are receiving this knowledge, all right, then I think it's safe to say that you are probably one of the members of the graduating class of souls who is graduating out of the tour of the purge. Okay, you will graduate into your light body. All right, and that's called the true heavenly realm. Right now, the heavenly realm exists within you. All right, with the Christ energy, great spirit energy, whatever you want to call it. But it's in you. It's the eternal light that is you. That's what they're jealous of. They don't have that. They want to be immortal, infinite. They want to live in the physical realm forever, being reincarnated and ruling this world and letting it be their heaven here in an infinite loop. All right, that's how they know what's going to happen and this and that. It's not prophecy. It's because it's the past. The past is the future. The future is the past. Okay, so I hope that helped you out. The whole sun simulator, that's just it's in place to hide these things. So when the sun starts turning visibly blue, they're gonna have that sun simulator in front of it. No one's gonna be able to see it. No one's gonna ask any questions. And then when it starts moving towards the North Pole, and that's when the event comes, that the biblical 6th and 7th seal, when the dome actually will open, all electromagnetic activity will be stopped. That's your rapture, when everything floats up and gets sucked up out of here. It's not a good thing. You don't want to get sucked up out of here. You will liquefy. You will be turned to liquid. Okay, jelly, and that's if you even make it through the little hole. If you don't, you're just gonna go fly. This only happens for about a half hour. Whether there's no electromagnetic activity, you'll fall back to the earth and just smack into the ground like someone jumping out of a plane without a parachute. That's where they get the rapture from. All right. So I hope this clarifies some things for you. This is the real truth. This is in every native tribe across the land. It's not just from Christianity, which they actually stole. The Romans stole the prophecy. It didn't come from a John of Patmos. They stole it from the priestesses, actually, the Sibylline priestesses. They have it on record how they did it. The 7 churches of Paul, and the 7 churches in the book of Revelation, that's all the 7 Orisha temples. Right? They took everything and just flipped it and made it masculine. Right? They basically froze the feminine out of all the stories. So your feminine energy, your right brain, will also be frozen, which is actually 90% of the data that you're not accessing. The X chromosome holds 90% more data than a Y chromosome. These are facts. Okay? That's why even a man has an X. A man has an X and a Y. A woman has an X and an X. So even a man has access to the X. X marks the spot. All right? I love y'all. It's Chief Ironbush. I hope this teaching, this video edified you in some way. Till the next time.